Welcome back. This video will explain how to set up your letterhead in HearForm Pro. The video on how to set up your practice already covers the letterhead to some degree, but let's go over that a little bit again. From the home screen here, I'm going to click the Setup button, but I could have clicked this Office button here to go to the Setup Office area, but I just want to show you under this screen here. I'm going to click the Letterhead button here and the second Letterhead button, but before I do, I want to just make sure that my office is set up properly. So you may have already seen the video that explains how you can right-click and insert a picture if you just want to insert a logo, either a square logo or a rectangular logo. And the other practice information is off to the left-hand side. So that information then is displayed right here in the upper right area where it says Northwest Florida ENT. And that information, the logo will automatically kind of stretch wider, or the text will slide over to the right if the logo is wider, so you shouldn't have to mess with that. But you can change, for example, if I don't want that black line right there, this top line, if I remove it, for example, it just kind of goes away. But I can say, well, I want this pink line if that's close enough. And you can also create your own lines if you're comfortable doing that. This gives us a different look, and again, let's just put something maybe like a gray line there, and as you can see, it just depends on what you want, but I'll go ahead and put the black line back for now. So that's a standard letterhead that is defaulted to most forms and letters in HearForm. We're going to talk about a custom letterhead in just a moment, but we may want to modify the information on this screen. So to do so, for example, let's say that your logo automatically says or not automatically, but it's embedded with your practice name, and you don't necessarily want your practice name in there twice. Well, you can click this little hide button right here, and that hides the practice name from here, but it still keeps it in the system so it will flow to other parts of the program. In the same way, you may not want to, for some reason, show the phone or fax number, but I can reset that. I can reset the company name there, and we can do the same with the address or the email address or website there. So keep in mind that you can hide information here. We can hide all of that information if desired. So you can change the color of that. You can put in your own font. I didn't show you how to do that, but you can change the font here. It's a little bit complicated, but let's say you didn't want Times New Roman. Excuse me. Let me go right down here. It's a little bit tricky. I think I'm going to zoom in so I can see it better. So if I didn't want Times New Roman, I could very carefully select that text right there and then type in Arial, which is kind of boring, but there you go. And then that's going to, for the company phone number, let's scroll back out again. So now I've changed that font there back to Arial. Let's just do it in a more obvious way real quick at the risk of making my video too long for you, but let's just do this, Arial. And I could have said Arial Bold, but notice how all of a sudden it just changed everything for me. So you can change the font, you can change the size. It's a little bit tricky here. Maybe you can play around with it. But what's nice is that if you mess it up, you can just reset all, and it puts it back in this case to Times New Roman. So let me zoom back out and show you that second button here. Letterhead 2 allows you to put in your own custom kind of letterhead, and as you can see here, it recommends 150 dpi, that's dots per inch. We recommend 300 dpi if you can. The higher the resolution, the better it's going to look when it's actually printed. So this right here is an actual graphic, and what we did is created that in Photoshop, and it's with the dimensions of 578 by 90 pixels. So your graphic artist or a professional may want to create a really nice looking letterhead for you. Then it looks exactly the way you want, with the size and the font and everything just exactly where you want it. And by putting it here, it will automatically appear at the top of most forms and letters. So keep that in mind. Yes, there are places where you can hide a letterhead temporarily, but that's generally if you're going to put use your own letterhead that's pre-printed, for example, from Kinko's or something like that. But generally you're going to use a letterhead that you either create this way or that you've created this way, and that will automatically flow as we take a final look here. Let's follow up a purchase agreement with a preview here, and that letterhead is going to appear there. Now if I chose a different office, then it would change the letterhead to that appropriate color and practice information at the top. So I think you get the idea, and that's how you set up your letterhead in HearForm Pro.